society.
Jesus is the content of God's love. Anybody who professes that he is a child of God must embrace and must demonstrate that love of God to his or her neighbor.
A worshipper, Dr. Tekura Zozo, says after listening to the message, he understands that whoever stands by you during difficulties, such a person is considered a good neighbor and not those who only come to you when things are rosy.
It's somebody that is standing by you, that is your good neighbor, and not the people that sometimes we believe are there for us.
In the same vein, Mrs. Vivian Ashemi advises Christians to always show love to their brethren just as the Good Samaritan did.
My advice to Christians is that we should have compassion, show love, notwithstanding who anybody is. Anybody we see, anybody we come across is our neighbor, and so we should show concern. That which if anybody does to us that we like, we should also do it to.
The Bible reading is taken from the book of Leviticus chapter 19 verses 18, which says, "You shall not take vengeance or bear grudges against the sons of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord." Margaret Abba, Benue Television News, Makudi.
Thank you, Margaret. Muslim faithful converge on Islamel prayer ground in their numbers in Wadata, Makudi, to pray and celebrate Eid al-Kabir. Correspondent Kabiru Buhari has more.
The celebration is one marked with sacrifice and alms given to the needy, with love, peace, and unity as the driven messages. The celebration is important to the Muslim Ummah as a festival of sacrifice. It portrays the willingness of Abraham to sacrifice his son Ishmael as an act of obedience to God, an act where God provided him with a lamb for sacrifice in place of his son. Chief Imam, Benue Central Mosque, Wadata Makodi, further explains the significance of the day.
Major lesson is sacrifice. Each one of us must make a sacrifice. You will not succeed without sacrifice. So you have to make a sacrifice for whatever you are doing, so that at least at the end of it you'll be rewarded. We were hoping now with this sacrifice our reward will be in the heaven.
Other Muslim faithful, Ahmed Tijani Ibrahim Abu, also gave insight into the day and celebration.
Advantage of today is that you give to the needies. Wherever there are needies, you share with them. If you have 1 naira, you share with them. If you don't have, you also smile and share with those that have. And even the ram that we are killing today, we just don't kill it for killing sake. We kill it because of as a sacrifice to Almighty Allah that asks us to do that.
Today's sermon of the Chief Imam is centered upon obedience, centered upon sacrifice, and centered upon respect, unity amongst Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Today, the Chief Imam has brought lessons derived from the life of Prophet Ibrahim seriously to Muslims, so that we will see that he became father of all nations, he became the most beloved of God, not because of any other thing except that he respected, obeyed, and he was obedient to the command of Allah.
Highlight of the occasion is the slaughtering of the sacrificed lamb, which is a symbol of the sacrifice of Ishmael by Abraham. Significantly, Eid al-Kabir celebration is charged to all Muslim faithful on the need for tolerance, peace, and unity, and love among themselves and others. It's hope that the lessons learned from this celebration will help foster unity of purpose among all in the quest to move the state and country forward. Kabiru Buhari, Benue Television News, Makodi.
A special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has taken a swipe at the New York Times over its report on the current economic situation in Nigeria. Onanuga stressed that President Tinubu inherited what he called a dead economy. He also justified some of the policy decisions taken by the Tinubu administration, like floating of the naira and fuel subsidy removal, declaring that the policies were taken in the best interests of the country. He said that at the time President Tinubu assumed office, the nation's economy was bleeding and needed urgent measures to bring it back. Onanuga noted that with all the plans being executed, inflation will soon be tamed, saying Nigeria is not the only country in the world facing rising cost of living. He added that as other nations are working towards addressing inflation, the Tinubu administration is also working hard to overturn Nigeria's economic challenges. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories to stay.
Benway Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Benway Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form costs 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership, and inquiries, please call Benway TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569.
Benway Fashion Show,
embracing fusion fashion.
Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians to embrace the spirit of sacrifice, love, and charity, especially towards the vulnerable at Eid al-Kabir. Speaking to newsmen after observing Eid prayers on Sunday, the president emphasized that citizenship comes with responsibilities, including loving one's country and neighbors and sharing resources with others. According to a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngilali, President Tinubu acknowledged that some level of sacrifice is required to move the nation forward. In his sermon, the chief imam of Lagos State, Sheikh Suleiman Abonola, who led the prayers, restated the need for more love, sacrifice, and care for the poor and the vulnerable. The president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Archbishop Daniel Oko, has called for unity and peace among Nigerians, urging citizens to embrace sacrifice, obedience, and faith. In a statement on Sunday, Archbishop Oko felicitated with Muslims on the occasion of Eid al-Kabir, emphasizing the need for Nigerians to unite and work towards a better country. He urged citizens to set aside their differences and heed the call for unity and peace, praying for divine intervention in the country's security, economic, and political struggles. He called on Nigerians to unite in love, forgiveness, and reconciliation. The cleric urged citizens to work together to build a Nigeria where all can thrive, regardless of religion or tribe. Troops on clearance patrols have neutralized 3 bandits along Gono-Rogo Eka axis of Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, according to a statement on Sunday by Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan. This came barely 48 hours after troops of Sector 4 Operation Wild Punch and 198 Special Forces Battalion conducted special operations, killing 6 bandits in Briningwari local government area of the state. Arwan said the troops conducted special clearance patrols in the area and made contact with bandits. He said that after an exchange of fire, 3 of the criminals were summarily neutralized. According to Arwan, Kaduna State Governor Ubasani thanked the security forces for the feedback and commended the troops under the leadership of the General Officer commanding 1 Division Nigerian Army Major General MLD Saraso for intensifying efforts to ensure a peaceful Eid celebration for citizens. Erwan assured that the troops will continue special fighting patrols within the general area and other locations of interest. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has busted a cartel controlled by 49-year-old Kelechi Nwabasi and his 50-year-old elder sister Chinwe Nwabasi in Aba, Abia State. A director of media and advocacy NDLEA headquarters Abuja, Femi Babafemi, in a statement on Sunday said they were arrested by officers of the Special Operation Unit of the agency while cocaine and methamphetamine consignments worth over 4.1 billion naira in street value were seized from their hideout in Aba, Abia State. Babafemi said the special operation followed months of intelligence gathering. Similarly, Babafemi said operatives of the NDLEA in Lagos State uncovered an expansive warehouse stocked with a large consignment of codeine-based syrup. He said 4 persons connected with the importation and distribution of the opioid were arrested during an intelligence-led raid on the facility. In the same vein, in Ogun State, NDLEA operatives seized 390 kilograms of cannabis and arrested the 3 suspects during an early morning raid at Ibese area of the state. The NDLEA spokesman added that commands and formations of the agency across the country continue their war against drug abuse, sensitization activities to schools, worship centers, workplaces, and communities in the past week. I'll take another break. When we come back, we'll bring you stories on the international scene. To stay.
Benway Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Benway Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form costs 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership, and inquiries, please call Benway TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569.
Benway Fashion Show,
embracing fusion fashion.
You're still watching Benway Television News at 9. There are 4 stories on the international scene. Tens of thousands of Malawians have taken part in a funeral service at the National Stadium to pay tribute to the vice president who was killed in a plane crash last week. The late Vice President Salus Chilima, who was considered a breath of fresh air in Malawian politics. At the service, President Lazarus Chakwera promised a full investigation into the cause of the crash, saying he had asked foreign governments for help. President Chakwera had previously said the military aircraft had crashed because of poor visibility caused by bad weather, but Mr. Chilima's UTM party has called for a thorough and independent investigation. The president said the Malawian military would carry out an investigation, but another independent one was needed as well. Chilima was a devout Catholic, and the service included a full mass. He will be buried in his home district of Mchil, 180 kilometers south of Lilongwe, on Monday, which has been declared a public holiday. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Kyiv will hold peace talks with Russia anytime Moscow pulls out of all Ukrainian territory. Speaking at the Summit for Peace in Switzerland, Zelensky said Russian President Vladimir Putin would not end the war except he is stopped by military or diplomatic means. He stated that the summit had shown that international support for Ukraine was not weakening. The meeting concluded with dozens of countries committing to Ukraine's territorial integrity. A final document was adopted which blamed the war's widespread suffering and destruction firmly on Russia. Several countries, including India, South Africa, and Saudi Arabia, did not sign the document. According to analysts, the summit was aimed at creating the broadest possible backing for a process that could help end the war in Ukraine. More than 90 countries and international organizations attended the summit. Russia was not invited, and its biggest backer, China, was not present, leading some to cast doubt on the summit's effectiveness. The final document calls for Ukrainian control to be restored over the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is currently occupied by Russia. German city officials have carried out a major operation in central Hamburg after a man wielding an axe threatened police officers. Police say they shot and injured the man, who is receiving medical attention. According to reports, the incident took place near a fan zone for supporters of the Dutch football team. The incident is not thought to be related to the game between Netherlands and Poland, which took place in Hamburg on Sunday as part of the Euro 2024 tournament. An initial police statement said that the man threatened police officers with a pickaxe and an incendiary device. He has not been identified by the police, and authorities have not commented on what motivations they believe were behind the incident, which took place on the Reeperbahn. Eyewitnesses said preparations went ahead as planned for the match, which kicked off at 3 p.m. local time. The stadium is about 5 miles from the city center where the incident happened. There are approximately 30,000 Dutch fans in the city and a similar number of Polish fans. There appeared to be a good atmosphere ahead of the match, which was seemingly unaffected by the incident. That's the size of our package for this morning. We'll take the top stories just before we go. Governor Hyacinth Alia has felicitated with Muslims on Eid al-Kabir. President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians to embrace the spirit of sacrifice at Eid al-Kabir. And on the international scene, Malawians have paid tribute to Vice President killed in plane crash. Many thanks for your attention. On behalf of the production team, my name is Jude Alaki. Have a beautiful day.